Venezuela drifts into new territory, hunger, blackouts, and government shutdown, all of which is going on right now. Venezuela, I hate saying this, and I hate when people say this, is probably the best example for what is to come in America. I don't like saying that because it sounds so selfish. Like, look, oh, these people are suffering. Hey, heads up, look, that's what's going to happen to us. It's already happening in so many countries around the world. So, yes, it is going to hit here just pretty much like what's going on in Venezuela. But at the same time, it's going on in Venezuela. We need to be praying for the people there. Because most likely, I don't know what that... Get the menu away from me. Stop. There we are. Most likely, the situation, as we wrote about just recently, is so bad because, number one, the U.S. government has been trying to overthrow Venezuela's government for years now. Venezuela's government is just crap. The guy, it's crap. Let's leave it at that. Number two, Venezuela happens to have the most oil, if not more than Saudi Arabia. So now, with the U.S. beginning to attack Saudi Arabia, it's pretty interesting that now Venezuela is crashing around the same time period. See what I'm saying? There's an outside force in this little situation that's going on here, and it has not been revealed by anybody yet. But I can almost tell you, very soon, if Venezuela keeps spiraling the way it is, things are going to get very ugly for the people there, worse than they are right now. And again, I hate saying this, but it's almost identical to what would happen in America. Because our economy is due to collapse. It just can't be held up anymore. Venezuela, the courts closed most days. The bureau to start a business, same thing. The public defender's office, man, that's been converted into a food bank for government employees. Step by step, Venezuela has been shutting down. This country has long been accustomed to painful shortages, even of basic foods, but Venezuela keeps drifting further into uncharted territory. I'm trying real hard to ignore the ad to the right. Ugh. In recent weeks, the government has taken what may be one of the most desperate measures ever by a country to save electricity, a shutdown of many of its offices for all but 2 half-days each week. But that is only the start of the country's woes. Electricity and water are being rationed, and huge areas of the country have spent months with little of either. Many people cannot make international calls from their phones because of a dispute between the government and phone companies over currency regulations and rates. Coca-Cola, FEMA, the Mexican company that bottles Coke in the country, has even said it was halting production of sugary soft drinks because it was running out of sugar. Last week, protests turned violent in parts of the country where demonstrators demanded empty supermarkets be resupplied. And on Friday, the government said it would continue its truncated work week for an additional 15 days. There's been plenty of problems, but one thing I haven't seen until now is protests simply to get food, said David Smild, the Caracas-based analyst for the Washington office on Latin America, a human rights group, referring to the demonstrations last week. The growing economic crisis fueled by low prices for oil, the country's main export, a drought that has crippled Venezuela's ability to generate hydroelectric power, and a long decline in manufacturing and agriculture production, has turned into an intensely political one for President Nicolás Maduro. This month, he declared a state of emergency, his second this year, and ordered military exercises, citing foreign threats. But the president looks increasingly encircled. American officials say the multiplying crises have led Mr. Maduro to fall out of favor with members of his own socialist party, who they believe may turn on him, leading to chaos in the streets. Old allies like Brazil, whose leftist president Dilma Rousseff was removed this month pending an impeachment trial, are now openly criticizing Venezuela. Jose Mujica, the leftist former president of Uruguay, last week called Mr. Maduro crazy like a goat. The regional tensions came to a head last week when Mr. Maduro went on television to chide the Organization of American States, which has criticized Venezuela's handling of the economic and political crisis. You know what? The U.S. is in no place to say a word about what's going on in Venezuela. Our government has crapped out when it comes to the economy and politics. Mr. Maduro took aim at Luis Almagro, its Secretary General, calling him a longtime traitor. How many people are sitting in the government right now of the U.S. that are traitors and implying he was a spy? Mr. Almagro responded with an open letter blasting the president, calling on him to allow the recall referendum his opponents are pushing this year to remove Mr. Maduro from office. You betray your people and your supposed ideology with your diatribes without substance, Mr. Almagro wrote. To deny the people that vote, to deny them the possibility of deciding, would make you just another petty dictator, like so many this hemisphere has had. As the sparring continues, I'm going to try and pronounce this name correctly. We're just going to go with Gonzalez. A 32-year-old mother of two is most worried about the retreat of the government from daily life. Venezuela's public schools are now closed on Fridays, another effort to save electricity. Here's an idea. If they're so worried about electricity, why don't they just use the oil to produce electricity? It's possible. It was talked about. It can be done with generating, the oil could be used for generating plants and so on and so forth. I don't know how it all works. I just know it can be used for electricity. And the very fact that they haven't come up with this idea because they're too busy trying to export it when they have so much, and just to keep the lights on it would work. But they're not doing it. Things around the world are spiraling out of control. Just look at France, look at Germany, look at Venezuela, look at other countries, look at Africa, look at the Middle East. All while many in the U.S. sit pretty and have absolutely no idea what in the hell is going on planet Earth. So locked in little dream world, they forget to wake up. That right there, my friends, is called a psychological declaration of martial law. When you're trapped in your little dream world and there's nothing going, you don't know what's going on around you. That is martial law. And that's control. And if you wake up from that control, you're threatened. Or so on and so forth. At least some are. Dangerous times lie ahead. That's all I got for you. God bless and carry on.